Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the place you built with your own hands, the land you fought for, the home you swore to protect, is no longer safe. Not because of some distant army, but because the danger is standing right next door. That's exactly where this story begins. And from the very first moment, you can feel it. Something has shifted. The piece of the ridge is gone. Not cracked, not threatened, gone. And the most terrifying part? Jamie Fraser knows it. He feels it before anyone else says a word. That quiet look on his face, standing on the porch, staring out at the land, it's not pride anymore. It's calculation. It's fear mixed with responsibility. Because this time, he's not preparing for a war he can ride toward. He's preparing for a war that's coming straight for him. And at the center of it all is Cunningham, a man who doesn't just disagree with Jamie. He's actively building something dangerous, a militia. Neighbors turning into soldiers, friends turning into threats, and suddenly every handshake feels like a lie waiting to be exposed. What makes this even more intense is that Jamie doesn't have the luxury of hesitation anymore. In the past, he could wait, observe, choose his moment. But now, every second he waits gives Cunningham more power. So when Jamie makes the decision to form his own militia, it doesn't feel heroic. It feels heavy. You can see it in the way he speaks to the men, the way he moves through the ridge. He's not just asking them to fight, he's asking them to risk everything. Their homes, their families, their lives. And deep down, he knows that once they pick up those weapons, there's no going back. This isn't defense anymore. It's the beginning of a civil war inside their own community. But while Jamie is preparing for battle, Claire is facing a completely different kind of war. Hers isn't fought with guns or strategy, it's fought with restraint. Because even as tensions rise, people still get hurt. And when Claire is forced to treat someone connected to the very threat they're facing, the situation becomes almost unbearable. Imagine looking into the eyes of someone whose family could destroy yours and still choosing to heal them. That's Claire's reality. And it's in these quiet, tense moments that the story hits hardest, because it reminds us that war doesn't just divide land, it divides humanity. Claire doesn't have the option to hate, but that doesn't mean she isn't afraid. As the ridge begins to transform, you start to notice the small changes. Men who once laughed together now avoid eye contact. Conversations stop when certain people walk into the room, and there's this constant feeling like something is about to snap. Jamie tries to hold it together, tries to keep control, but even he knows this situation is bigger than him now. The Revolutionary War isn't just a backdrop anymore. It's a force pushing every character toward a breaking point. And the scariest part? There is no clear right side. Everyone believes they're protecting something. Everyone thinks they're justified, which means when the fight finally comes, it won't feel like good versus evil. It will feel like loss. And right in the middle of all this chaos, there's a moment, a quiet glance between Jamie and Claire. No words, no dramatic speech, just understanding. The kind that only comes when two people realize their lives are about to change forever, because they both know what's coming next, not just conflict, but consequences. And as the sun sets over the ridge, casting long shadows across the land they love, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The life they built is already slipping away, and the battle for what remains has only just begun. While the ridge prepares for war, the story quietly shifts, and just when you think you understand the battlefield, everything changes. Because hundreds of miles away, in the elegant yet dangerous streets of Savannah, a completely different kind of tension is unfolding, one that doesn't rely on guns or open threats, but on secrets, hidden intentions, and the kind of silence that can be far more deadly than any weapon. This is where Brianna steps in, And from the moment she arrives, you can feel it. She doesn't belong here, not because she isn't strong enough, but because this world plays by rules that are invisible until it's too late. She's been sent to paint a portrait, something that should feel simple, almost peaceful compared to the chaos back home. But nothing about this situation is simple. The house she enters feels too quiet, the people too observant, the smiles just a little too forced. And slowly, that uneasy feeling turns into certainty. She's not just here to paint, she's here to uncover something dangerous. The woman she's meant to paint isn't just another subject. She's sharp, controlled, and far too aware of everything happening around her. Every question she asks Brianna feels like a test, every glance like a warning. And what starts as a simple interaction quickly turns into a psychological battle where every word matters. Brianna has to be careful, not just about what she says, but about what she reveals without even realizing it. Because in this world, knowledge is power, and the wrong person knowing the wrong thing could destroy everything. And as the tension builds, one truth becomes clear. This situation is connected to William, Jamie's son, the one piece of the puzzle that has always carried the most risk. And suddenly, Brianna isn't just protecting herself anymore. She's protecting a secret that could tear the entire family apart. Then comes the moment that changes everything. A crowded street, a brief glance, and time itself seems to stop. Brianna sees him, William, not as a memory, not as a distant connection, but standing right there, real and unavoidable. And in that instant, all the complexity of their relationship crashes into reality. They share the same blood, the same history, but they exist on completely different sides of a war that's only getting worse. When their eyes meet, there's no dramatic reunion, no emotional embrace, just silence. Heavy, complicated silence. Because what do you say in a moment like that? How do you bridge a gap built on secrets, loyalty, and identity? And yet, even in that silence, there's understanding, a recognition that no matter where they stand, they are connected in a way that can't be undone. But the tension doesn't end there, because while Brianna is navigating this dangerous game, Roger is facing a battle of his own, one that might be even more difficult because it isn't visible. Back on the ridge, he stands at a crossroads that defines who he is as a man. For so long, he has held on to his identity as a peaceful minister, someone who guides, who comforts, who believes in something greater than violence. But now, that belief is being tested in the harshest way possible. When danger gets closer, when the lives of his family are no longer just a possibility but a responsibility, peace starts to feel like a luxury he can't afford. And that's where the real conflict begins, not outside, but inside him. The moment he realizes there's no safe option is the moment everything changes. If he stays true to his beliefs, he risks losing everything. If he chooses to fight, he risks losing himself. And that's what makes his decision so powerful, because it isn't about right or wrong, it's about survival. When he finally reaches for that weapon, it doesn't feel like a victory, it feels like a surrender to a reality he never wanted to accept. And in that quiet, heavy moment, you can see it in his eyes. He knows there's no going back. As these three paths collide, Jamie preparing for war, Brianna uncovering dangerous truths, and Roger stepping into a darker version of himself, one thing becomes painfully clear. This isn't just a fight for land or survival anymore. It's a fight for identity, for family, for the very core of who they are. And as the tension rises and the lines between right and wrong begin to blur, the real question isn't who will win, it's how much they're willing to lose before it's over. So now I want to know, if you were in their place, would you choose to fight for everything you love, even if it meant losing yourself in the process?